First of all, I want to make it clear that I do not favor secession at the moment. I think there's still a reasonable chance that people who want the United States of America to remain the United States of America, the people who don't want to tear it down and replace it with a different system that is a proven failure, I think there's still a good chance that these people will wake up before it's too late. But if they don't, here's how it will happen. I don't believe any of the myriad current crises will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. The wars in the Middle East, the crisis at the border, the culture wars, I don't think any of these things, separately or together, will be the formula that makes the secession dominoes start to fall. Now, I may think that all these things pose direct threats to our sovereignty as a country. It's just that most people, unfortunately, don't agree with me. The progression towards secession began with the most divisive president in history, Barack Obama. Before Obama, it was customary for whichever party was in power to work with the other party. I know this seems ridiculous now, but to work with the other party in order to reach compromise that both sides could live with. Shortly after he was elected, Obama, in essence, called the Republicans in and said to them, in essence, in his now famous "elections have consequences" speech, that he really didn't care what they thought, and that he was going to go ahead and do what he wanted with or without them. Not with or without them, specifically without them. Ever since that moment, it's been a ram it through while you can style of governing on both sides. And unfortunately, the Democrats have been much better at it than the Republicans. But I think it likely that the next time the Democrats have a solid majority, they will do three things that will ultimately end in secession. Number one, they will pack the Supreme Court. There's no way that a Gavin Newsom, for example, whose motto is big, hairy, audacious goals, is going to wait for the philosophical makeup of the court to change on its own. He's going to pack it with the support of his increasingly unhinged party, and he's going to undo everything that's been done by this court over the past several years. Camel straw number two, the filibuster will be eliminated, and there will no longer be any effective checks on the party in power. Number three, they will abolish the Electoral College and put the lives of every individual in the so-called flyover areas in the hands of voters in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. If this seems unthinkable, just look at what's happened over the past few years. If these three things happen, and I believe, unfortunately, there's a good chance they will in the coming years, the state of Texas will secede from the Union. There are already people talking about this as a serious option. The virtually complete erasure of their sovereignty as an individual state caused by these three things would, in my opinion, be more than enough for them to decide they'd had enough. I'll probably do an entirely separate video on the mechanics of secession, but for those of you who think that Texas can't secede without the permission of the other states, consider a few things. First, half of all the states in the Union supported Texas' decision to maintain the integrity of its border against the express wishes of the federal government. Are these states going to support sending troops, many of whom are stationed in their states, into Texas to keep them in the Union by force? Second question, are Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, are they going to send their own armed citizens to Texas to keep them in the Union? Unlikely. Also, extremely unwise. It then comes down to who the troops stationed in Texas and Texas residents serving elsewhere are going to follow, Gavin Newsom or their governor. The governor already has the virtually certain cooperation of the 20,000 troops in the Texas National Guard. In reality, it's probably all he needs. There will be no civil war. For these practical reasons, and also because the leftist states are so delusional that many of them think they would actually be better off on their own. Once Texas is out, things would happen very quickly. With Texas voters gone, the leftist stranglehold over the remaining states would be absolute. Most of the 25 states who supported Abbott on immigration would quickly leave the Union, likely cutting the leftist states in two. That would be followed by county secessions to join the newly formed Free States of America, completing the geographic isolation of their opponents. No way this would happen. A bunch of tiny countries and a few big ones, who would do that? Now, future members of the free states, you may be concerned about the cost and practicality of putting up thousands of miles of walls and razor wire to protect your new, more complicated borders. Let me put your minds at ease. This whole immigration mess does not need to be complicated at all. Okay, pay attention. Okay, no proof of citizenship or approved visitation. Okay, no food, no shelter, no medicine, no money, no job. As for recalcitrant illegals, you can build a lot of jails if you don't have to pay for all those freebies. But wait, oh my gosh, what will we use as the basis of this new government? Well, how about this for starters? But we actually follow it this time with just a few minor improvements.